Alright, thanks for tuning into this game between Mono Esports and Dignitas. This is your caster Azel today, and thanks for tuning in. And as we can see, we did not get to see picks and bans for this game, but we can see on Mono Esports, Nintendo's going to be on Olaf, Lee Sin's going to be top lane with Zion Spartan, Pixel's going to be picking up Janna, Kog'Maw for Zig, and Morgana for Paradoxical. Very strong looking team. Janna, one of the best supports in the game, hands down. Very solid team. And it looks like for Dignitas, I Will Dominate on Dr. Mundo. Very strong jungler right now. One of the best picks. Has such fast clear times. Really does well. Ashe on I'm a Cutie Pie. Good initiation. You can also see that Rise for Skara, one of the strongest AP carries in the game, has a fantastic late game and just can build defensively. Just beat this Bruiser AP. One of the few champions that can actually be built kind of really defensively and still have solid damage output. Locust is going to be on Soraka support. Doesn't really have a flash or any escape, so she might be an easy target there. And Voyboy is going to be on Vladimir. So it looks like they have kind of a double AP setup going for Dignitas. As they kind of start invading, they're kind of heading, they want to head for, Mono Esports is kind of heading for Dignitas' red. Pigs are going down. They see Skara just hanging out. Zion Spartan lands the Q, goes in on it, takes Skara to half, and then they're just going to back off. Skara realized he was not really in a good place there. That wasn't really a good, kind of weird. Zion checking the bush with his Q, good plan. Doesn't really want to face check that in case Dignitas is kind of just hanging out there, waiting for him. And now, Mono Esports is going to try to group up in this bush. Kind of wait for Dignitas, hope they kind of face check there. And it looks like they are committing to taking this red buff. And they're going to clairvoyance and see Mundo is starting blue, since he knows that they are taking his red. Not a bad decision. If you're getting counter jungled like that, you want to make sure that you're not going to miss out on XP, and you got to start at a new location. And Mono Esports did ward down there. Make sure that their red's not being taken. Pings are going down for Skara. Soraka seen by the ward. And they're going to help Lee Sin out with these raids. Pings are going down. I don't think Dignitas is stealing their red right now, but Mono Esports is definitely going to check there. They're giving the leash for Lee Sin. Gonna help him out. Oh, Olaf, I apologize. They're giving the leash for Olaf. They're going to give Olaf the red buff there. And then everyone's going to fall back to their lanes. Dignitas is down their red buff, though. And now we're just going to see some farming going on. Mundo going in. He's going to try to take the red. He is actually going to try to steal it. And you can see Olaf knows. They know they're going to collapse on him. That ward definitely come into play. That is a very strong ward. I Will Dominate. Gets spotted. Gets the red buff. Bottom lane for Mono comes up. Oh, they are collapsing hard on him. If he gets out, this will be impressive. Olaf lands the axe. They are attacking. Who's going to get the first blood? Janna walks away with the first blood. Now there's going to be double buff Janna in the bottom lane. Not exactly the best person to have double buff, but hey, at least they got the first blood there. Although Janna really should have just kind of backed off near the end there and let kind of... If Kog'Maw would have got that double buff, oh, this bottom lane would be in serious trouble. Dignitas would be in serious trouble if Kog'Maw had the double buff. Top lane, we have some harassment going on. Now, Vlad does fairly well against Lee Sin. Vlad has insane sustain once he gets that Will of the Ancients. He can just kind of farm up, do some harass, and then heal off the harass. And Pixel using that red buff, helping auto attack, putting that slow and damage onto Ashe, kind of putting some pressure on there, and it's just going to spam abilities since he has the blue buff and the red buff. And since they got, since Dignitas lost that double buff, that's going to put Mundo behind. He did take the experience for Mono's red buff, but he now does not have double buff. That's going to really shut down his kind of ganking potential. He's going to have to rely on landing his cleavers in order to put some sort of slow on the people he's trying to gank. And Olaf's just kind of farming up in the jungle. Hits level 4. Pretty fast level 4 there. Olaf has fairly good jungle clear time, so not a bad pick at all. Morgana's fairly good. She can really just push, if anything. Safely push if there's ever really an issue. A lot of Morgana players like to push the lane, then kind of roam to other lanes. And we got a gank top. Olaf's coming in on Vlad. And Vlad's going to be able to pull to safety. And bottom lane, we just kind of have some trades going off. Not really much going on. Olaf's coming back for Vlad. But the pool is down. He lands the axe. He's coming in again. He throws the axe again. Zion Spartan. Not really landed the Q there. Olaf looks like he's just kind of hanging out top, and he is going to go back. Or is he? He is just kind of faking it. Lee Sin lands the Q. Goes in, but Vlad is just kind of hanging out there. Both. Oh, and Morgana's coming from mid. This is a 3-man gank top. Will Void Boy escape? Pulls under the binding. Misses. And now I think finally Nintendo's going to go back. They're going to stop this gank attempt on top. Good job by Void Boy. Staying alive there. Doing all those dodges. Surviving the almost 3-man gank. They kind of didn't really commit to that, but they didn't commit because he did a very good job at not getting hit by the skill shots. Still a fairly even game right now. Let's check on the creep scores here. Both teams are fairly even right now. Lee Sin definitely building up that magic resist so he can just get by that harass by Vlad. Now Janna does go back, leaving Cog 2v1 bottom lane for a little bit, but he's just going to play it safe. Throw some auto attacks on Soraka when he gets the chance, but not really much action is going to go on here. Soraka doesn't really have much crowd control, so it's kind of hard for her to set up kills like, say, Tarek would, or a support like that. You can see Rise is going to go for the Catalyst first, as we can see from getting the Sapphire Crystal and the Ruby Crystal. Not a bad choice. And Nintendo was bottom lane. Sorry, I missed that there. Does get the kill on Soraka, and things are going down for Dragon. Janna's just going to ward it here. I don't think they're actually going to go for it. Just on the kill on Soraka. They don't really know where Dr. Mundo is, so not really a bad choice. They don't really want to lose the lead that they have over trying to Dragon a little too early. Some harass going on from Rise. And Mundo comes in, just says hi. He's just strolling through. He goes where he pleases. So, but things are going down for Dignitas' blue buff. Looks like Mono Esports is gonna contest this. They're gonna try to remove this and deny this from Rise. And Paradoxical lands the binding on Dr. Mundo because ult goes off, and just a fantastic kill on him, taking him down extremely quickly. And now pigs are going down for Dragon. They will pull it this time. They will go for it. Mundo is down. Dignitas' smite is down. This should be a fairly easy Dragon for Mono Esports. It is resetting, and they got back aggro. Kog'Maw's just kind of holding off bottom lane. And they should be able to take this fairly easily. Kog'Maw is making his way up there to help out, make it a little faster. Actually, Nintendo's going to have to move away. He almost died there. Gets the Janna shield, and there we go. That's going to put Dragon up at about 13 minutes and 44 seconds. That's when the next one will be up. Lee Sin's coming in from behind Vlad. Will something happen here? He shields himself. Just getting some auto attacks off. Throwing out the damage. Ults onto Vlad. Will he go down here? Vlad does have some armor, so he's kind of holding off there. And he does get the ult on Zion. Zion's going to have to back off. He doesn't really want to die to that Vlad ult. And they're going to go back to farming up here. Vlad and Lee Sin kind of very similar in that right after an engage like that, they can kind of just attack the minions, since Lee Sin has such good passive lifesteal, and Vlad, once he gets that Hex Tech, he just kind of heals. They just kind of heal back up to full and do it again. They're like two brothers fighting. Vladimir is 55 to Lee Sin's 53 minions killed. They're actually keeping fairly even. And Morgana is coming up from mid. See if they're going to get anything going right now. Vlad did back away, so he might have had some sort of tell. And Mundo is in the bottom part of Mono's jungle. Just trying to take that big Wraith, and he does get it. He's denying that experience from Olaf. Mundo's a very solid counter jungler, so he's definitely living up to his job there. Back to farming. Morgana comes back mid lane. Was just, roaming, getting that done. As I said, getting the farm down. Lee Sin is going to put some harass onto the Vlad. Lands the Q. Just getting some auto attacks off. Getting Vlad fairly low. And Zion is in a good position right now. Olaf is coming up from River. Not sure if that's warded though. He's hanging out in Tribush. They might dive him here. Not sure. Oh, Olaf's going in. Checking to see if Vlad's still there. And they might be setting up to dive him. Morgana's heading up and Mundo is top. Here it comes. The dive onto the turret. Lee Sin takes the turret aggro. Gets exhausted by Mundo. Nintendo comes in with the true damage from Olaf. It's going, and the Ash arrow lands on Zion Spartan. Nintendo's gonna go down to the turret, and the shield comes off from Zion Spartan. That was fantastic play, teamwork, going out like crazy. That was gonna be the end of Nintendo, but he does walk away with his life thanks to the smart play by Lee Sin. That was fantastic. That was such a good play. And Zig's putting some damage onto Soraka before the heal goes off. And it looks like no one's going to die bottom lane. They're just going to push up to the turret. They can do that safely since they know Mundo is now... He was dead at the time, but he is back up. I will dominate. Getting dominated this game. He is 0-3. Vlad's just going to push the lane top lane. Probably just going to go back... buy something. Oh, he does actually have his Hex Tech, so he might not. He might just go farm those golems. Olaf's going to go back to farming those raids. And bottom lane's putting some good harass in. They're definitely keeping bottom lane pressured. I'm a Cutie Pie is getting some harass. And I will dominate is mid lane, holding it for Rise, who did have to go back. Olaf is taking the red buff for mono. And Zion Spartan's getting aggressive here. Gonna land the Q on Void Boy, getting some auto attacks off. And they're just gonna back away at this point. They did a nice little trade. Zion's gonna walk away a little better off. He took Vlad to about half health there. And Olaf is gonna come in for the lane gank here. They have the pick ward in this brush, so they know this is not warded. So if Nintendo gets into that brush, they will not be able to see him on Dignitas. And this could lead to some action here. Lee Sin's putting some pressure onto Vlad top lane. Not much is going to come from there. Zig is trying to push the lane so Nintendo can get into that bush without being seen. Rise is coming back from what looks like his blue buff. Nope, he was just kind of visiting the jungle for a bit, and he does get into the bush. Let's see if anything comes from this. Mundo is coming to the top part of the jungle. He might be trying to get some sort of pressure onto Morgana in the mid lane. And Nintendo is hanging out in the bush. It looks like Dignitas now has an idea. The hawk shot from I'm a Cutie Pie, it's almost like he has like a sixth sense. He knew something was up there. And disaster averted thanks to that hawk shot by Ash. Fantastic job of just kind of getting a feel like, hey, there's something up. I'm going to hawk shot that bush. Okay. Yep, there's an Olaf there. We don't really want to deal with that. In top lane, Zion Spartan's putting the hurt onto Vlad. But Vlad's just going to heal back up thanks to that Hex Tech revolver. Morgana's on the move, heading through the jungle. Is going to come top lane. There might be a gank coming top lane. Zion Spartan's definitely hitting some attacks, hitting his spells. He's actually in a really good place. He has almost full health. Morgana misses the binding, the blind shot, and just going to back away. Vlad's under his turret. You just got to be careful. It's really hard to dive a Vladimir. He just has too many escapes and heals. He can just kind of pool to avoid what you're doing, and then you're just going to take some turret damage. And sometimes it just doesn't end up being worth it. You have to be really, really sure. They were able to dive Mundo top lane because he's just kind of there. Mundo's supposed to soak up the damage, so if you want to deal damage to him, and he hasn't built too defensively yet, it's not a bad idea. Paradoxical is going to try to steal this blue buff.